And it's time for Lefties Losing It. And bad news for MSNBC. Their ratings were already low, but they have plummeted even further. In the crucial 25 to 54 age demographic, MSNBC has seen its ratings plunge 41% during prime time and 34% across the total broadcast day, compared with just a year ago. Now, this is according to leaked ratings figures, and I can't imagine why.
We finished
it's a
the
wrap.
first episode.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I need a drink. I need a drink. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And we're going to eat. We're going to drink. We're going to party. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. And we're going to be back tomorrow.
Meanwhile, in the back, they're like working.
Okay, come back.
Why isn't there show rating? It's a mystery. And the host to suffer the most humiliating collapse is Jen Psaki. Let's have a look.
The speeches are getting much more disturbing and much more unhinged, and we should all hear it that way.
Now to CNN, who would have been none too happy about airing an interview where a hostage held by Hamas made it clear that the terrorists wanted Kamala Harris to win the election.
Scared of him. Yeah, they wanted...
Who?
The terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected. When Trump became president, yeah, the way they treated us changed. For me, personally, this is what I
think
felt.
because they anticipated that a deal would come soon.
Yeah.
And that's when they started giving you more food.
Exactly. More food, treated me better, stopped cursing me, stopped spitting on me.
Now to the Hollywood elite. Here are some pearls of wisdom from Idris Elba, who thinks he knows how to stop knife crime in the UK. Let's ban all those pointy kitchen knives.
The truth is that kitchen knives are perhaps 25% of the knives used in most of the terrible crimes. That's one of the stats in the films. And those kitchen knives are usually a domestic situation, okay? So kitchen knives, of course, it's very difficult. They're a domestic knife. I do think there is areas of innovation that we can do with kitchen knives. I hate to say it, not all kitchen knives need to have a point on them. That sounds like a crazy thing to say, but actually it would reduce. You can still cut your food without the point on the knife, which is an innovative way to sort of look at it. And in a country in crisis, I'm sorry, but yeah, let's look at that.
Oh yes, genius idea there. Maybe we can ban forks next. Now to Dylan Mulvaney. He's back, and this time he's promoting fashion label Jean Paul Gaultier. Dylan taking more jobs from women. The patriarchy always wins. Now, a lot has been said about Democrat-appointed activist judges, lawfare, and even the term judicial insurrection is starting to gain hold. Here is a judge not talking about constitutional matters, but the importance of judges looking like the offenders. This is Judge Cassandra Collier-Williams.
I thought that it was important that, especially in criminal cases, where when you have people that on one side of the bench, they can look at the judge and say, wow, she looks like me, then maybe I have a better shot.
Yep, that's really important. By the way, the judge's own son is in jail for murdering his wife, shooting her in the head 3 times. Let's check in now with brave women's rights warrior Kelly J. Keane. She is a great champion of women, and she's in the US to fight against the excesses of the trans movement. But the young woman interviewing her here insists that Kelly J. Keane call men trans women.
A man who calls himself a woman is not one, that you shouldn't transition children.
So how are trans women infringing on cis women's spaces?
So men in women's spaces makes it no longer a women's space, so we don't have a right to a woman's space if a man is allowed in it.
Have you ever felt personally unsafe with a trans woman in your presence?
Have I felt unsafe with men in my presence? Yes, 100%.
Trans women?
Yeah, men. So that would be free speech. If you say you're for free speech and you're trying to police my speech to call a man, then you wouldn't be for free speech, would you? Are you for free speech?
Thank you for your time.
I guess not. Very upsetting.
And here is Kelly J. Keane telling women in burqas, those dehumanising Muslim modesty garments, to free themselves. You gotta love her.
Free yourselves, ladies. Free your faces. Free yourselves.
And exciting news, folks. There's a new pronoun in town. Yes, it's flow and flows. Here's how you use it.
Today's pronoun of the day is flow flows. Remember that these pronouns were requested by someone who does currently use them or intends to use them in the future. The word flow suggests fluidity, movement, change, which can be important symbols for gender. Alright, now let's see how to use these pronouns in a conversation. I miss Kim so much. Have you seen Flo today? Yeah, I ran into Flo at the library earlier today. Flo was working on Flo's presentation for tomorrow. Oh nice, I've been meaning to ask if Flo needs any help with it. I think Flo would really appreciate that. Flo said that it's been really hard to handle all by Flo's self.
Now to Boulder, Colorado. Earlier today, the site of an act of terrorism, domestic terrorism, against a pro-Israel demonstration. People were set alight with a number of individuals seriously hurt, some with life-threatening injuries. This was among the first clips after the attack. In the chaos, you can see people running towards and away from the attack, and you can see the alleged attacker, Mohammed Solomon, to the left of your screen, topless and metres away from victims who he'd just set alight.
Stay.
FBI Director Kash Patel said the incident was a targeted terror attack. Let's have a look at this footage of the alleged terrorist shouting about Zionist as a badly injured woman is helped by brave individuals.
We're here, brother. We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing.
We can!
Not here.
Zionist!
Not here, bro. You're not.
I'm taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on the...
And in this clip, you can see the man continuing to rant about Palestine and calling the pro-Israeli protesters killers.
Palestine is fighting and for us.
Well, we can't do when he's got Molotov cocktails on.
If you are fighting, you have to...
That's what he's got right here, is Molotov cocktails.
Right there.
It's alcohol.
They are killers.
Get back, Mom.
Joining me now is author and commentator Shamika Michelle. Shamika, it's hard to believe that that's America, but there's no doubt that the anti-Jewish, anti-Israel sentiment has intensified in recent weeks.
You know, Rita, it's really sad. As you said, this is America, and this isn't something that I'm used to seeing, you know, being here all of my life, about 25 years. I'm just kidding. But, you know, it's just sad that we have to witness this. And it's sad that people just going out for a peaceful protest have to be harmed in this manner. And it really makes me upset that people would go out and do this to fellow Americans. I don't understand why Boulder is refusing to call it a terror attack. That's exactly what it is. But it just shows exactly how terrible the hold is the left has, that they just won't call a thing a thing. They never say exactly what it is.
Well, you're right about that, because it seemed to be a clear case of domestic terrorism. There's so much footage of the incident and the alleged assailant saying what he's saying. And even after the FBI labelled it a terror attack, local authorities in Colorado were reluctant to do so. Let's listen to our Boulder Police Chief, Stephen Redfern.
FBI is already calling it a targeted terror attack. Would you also refer to it as a terror attack?
So I've been in contact with our local FBI multiple times. We are in contact with them here. We are not calling it a terror attack at this point. Again, it's way too early to speculate motive. You know, I know there's a lot out there on social media, but I ask people just to give us a little bit of patience while we work through a really complex scene.
Shamika, why do you think this is? They are so reluctant to call a spade, even after it identifies itself as a spade.
I think they're just so used to lying. This is what mainstream media does, and they promote this type of behavior because someone behind the camera or behind the microphone should have called him on his foolishness. Because if the FBI has already determined this is what it is, what do you mean you don't know what the motive is? The man was hollering free Palestine. I just don't understand why we have to be so silly and pretend like we don't know his motive when it's clear.